Hi guys. Okay, so happy Friday, happy Bitcoin breakout pump day, happy whatever is happening because everybody's portfolios are looking ever so slightly better today than it was yesterday. So for today's stream, I want to talk to you guys about Bitcoin. We need to decide whether there's going to be more or we're going to see this retrace, and then how we use this for a moment. While we use this momentum to get in on some of the alts. The alt strategy that and the reason I'm saying this is that with Bitcoin being in the upper end of that channel, there's no bearish signals yet. So there's nothing telling me that this is over. But we're sitting in a situation that when we do get to this breakout and we start hitting the area where supply should enter the market again, that the expectation is that the price will become choppy again. And the way that you can visualize that or use a fractal to kind of look at that is very simple. It's something like this. So it doesn't necessarily mean the momentum is over, but you expect the market to now become choppy, to build up for more. And as the rule is with traders, is we always treat the trend as if it's going to last forever. And then another thing that I just want to remind you guys on, the technical analysis is a tool used to measure risk. That's all we're trying to do. I cannot give you guys financial advice. I cannot solve any problems. I cannot solve world hunger, anything like this. Technical analysis, I can only look at the risk and make a decision based on the probabilities. Probabilities is what makes casino owners rich and people using the casinos poor. The probabilities of success is weighted into the owner's favor. And that's what we can do when we trade and trade for a living, that is. Okay, so in short, where am I at the moment? That long has got me about $90,000 worth of gains. That sounds amazing. I'm still carrying my short because from the weekly time frame, we're still in the sell zone. Nothing has changed there for me. And but I did reduce the short ever so slightly because otherwise at this stage, half of that would have been drawn down. So I did do that. And that's basically all the recap that you would need to take, if you're new to the channel, to know where we're at and what I'm going to be using to kind of build on where Bitcoin's next move is going to go towards, as well as the alts that I'm going to be looking at, because I have a simple strategy that basically works better for Altseason at this stage. And it is this: get the coin, identify a good coin, wait for it to double your money, 2x, sell half, then let the rest ride so that you can have your capital back to look for the next one. And yes, lucky ones like Sui and when they do go up like crazy, you've got your original investment just at a higher buying price, still doing well for you, and you can stay within that. I'll show you using the buddy indicator how you can stay within that. Okay, and we can even use the trend scope indicator for that matter. So you can stay in that move for as long as the trend remains bullish, and then take profit on it. Because I think bottoms are littered. Altcoin bottoms like this with Ethereum, they littered with people that didn't take profit the last time round when it was presented. That's why nobody buys the bottom. I don't think it's because retail wasn't here. They were here. They were really aware of how shitty their bags were looking at this stage. They're here. They just didn't have anything they didn't have any buying power to do that. And that's the difference. That's what we're trying to achieve with today's altcoins. So if that is something you're interested in, you want to know a little bit more, you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the content with a friend. Sit back, relax. You're in good hands, guys. And then let's go. For those in the comments, say hi. Let's see where we're at. Liam is leveraging OP. You naughty man. Chris, good morning. Lizel, Tragic Garlic is back. I haven't seen you commenting here for ages, my friend. Nice to have you back. Let's go to the moon. I would love to do that with you. Okay, Afi on Twitter. Nice to see you here, my friend. And right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. So I'm going to start off with Bitcoin, and let's just quickly look at the health of this breakout. A few things that we need to consider when we want to look at the health. It's not just necessarily the charts. Now, what do I mean by well, let's start. First thing, do we have strong bearish divergence? Now, we know divergence by itself isn't a reversal, strong bearish divergence, because as long as we have that, it means that there's an unfair advantage towards the bulls. They're way more powerful. They're buying, they're moving up. It's only when strong bearish divergence breaks the trend. And how do we know that? That's when we need to take it serious. So how do we know that? Well, simple. When we look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour, we're looking for obviously strong bearish divergence. So let's move over to a 1-hour time frame and see if there's anything there yet. Yes, we do have strong bearish divergence. So let me mark it out for you, and then we can have a look at that. So we look at the closing price of candles, because that's just kind of the handshake point of the negotiation. Because all of this, you should just basically point at is the market. It's all the market participants negotiating. Whether this is now a fair price. Is $117,000 for Bitcoin fair price? Simple as that. Nobody wants to buy fair. Everybody wants to buy a discount. And everybody wants to sell high. And that's what brings in the volatility. If there's too many of those people acting on price, the thing gets extremely volatile, because I'm saying 100 and you saying 130, and now we're fighting. Okay, so at this stage where we're at now, we do have strong bearish divergence. And the way that you can see that on the closing price, when you switch to the line tool, simplest way, is price is making a higher high. So let's mark out strong bearish divergence. And the RSI, now the RSI is a leading indicator. Okay, so it projects the future. It doesn't look backwards. It's not a momentum-based indicator. And that one, my friends, has got a lower high. So we do have strong bearish divergence. Now, for those that are that's regulars and watch the stream, what's the line I'm going to be drawing now? In the comments, let me know. The quickest one, I don't know what the quickest one is going to reply gets, but let's see. What's the quickest one? What's the comment going to be? And what I will do is I'll just put a line there so that I can see what you guys are, where you guys are at. So that is typically then the strong bearish divergence neatly shown on the chart. So this 4-hour chart, although we're reaching the upper end, it's showing us on the smaller time frame, it's wanting to turn around. And there it is. Thou shall not cross. Kudos to you, buddy. Okay, so back to the 1-hour time frame, the thou shall not cross line. So what it is, and Afi, you obviously do have the right. You just used a little bit more of a technical analysis term there, but okay. Thou shall not cross line. And it means that the RSI has 2 pivot points that we're keeping an eye on. The first one, why? Because it pivots, it turns around, goes in the opposite direction. And then the second one. And this now, my friends, is support. It's where price needs to stay above. Support. So if we switch back the candles, it's okay. We can chop around. We can do this now, but I don't want price to start trading below 116,500. If we start trading below 116,500, that is when we can start saying again, buy the dip. Okay, so let's zoom out. Let's look at this 4-hour time frame. We know that there's signs of momentum slowing on the initial breakout. And we know that this is the area where I'm expecting price to be choppy based on the fact that we did it there. Supply started making things choppy. This retrace wasn't bearish in the sense that we make a low, but it is going to slow down slightly. Now, this is good because it gives the altcoins a moment to steal your attention, because that's what we have at the moment. There's a lack of confidence in the market. And, with lack of confidence means people just stop looking at them. It's simple. So I want to see Bitcoin now start doing this. And then, as you can see, the RSI needs to retrace at an alarming pace. We need to see this thing, and it's not there yet on the 4-hour, obviously, needs to start falling down quickly, because that gives us hidden bullish divergence. And that's what we want after all. We want the continuation of the trend, and we need to see that price grinds but still locks in higher lows, building more demand, building more demand, building more demand. Each time we make a higher low, building more demand. But the RSI is saying to us, hey, there's big money adding to the fuel to the fire, and confidence obviously retail wants to buy and then see a giant blue candle. And when it's chopping around, they don't quite like that so much. That's what the oscillator is basically pointing out, that confidence is resetting and the next big move is going to be coming our way shortly. Okay, so that's Bitcoin for today. Now, what else do I have to kind of say that there is the potential for this? So the first thing that we need to look at is we need to look at the open interest for Bitcoin. That's the amount of people trading leverage at this stage. Now, what you want is you want harmony with that. So meaning, if the same amount of traders are there or more traders are there and the price gets higher or more expensive, what will happen to the amount of open interest, physical orders on the order book, leveraged orders? They should go higher again or higher as well. And if there's a divergence, price is higher, but the interest is lower, that's also an early signal that, hey, things are turning, momentum is lost. Okay. So what do we have at this stage? As you can see that clearly price has made a higher high, and we do have a fairly, I would say, double top at this stage with the open interest. So it's not conclusive just yet that we do have a divergence, but it is pointing to that possibility. So unless new, fresh leverage money, say in 6 hours time, the 4 p.m. fuckery, as we used to, as we say, refer to it, and in the Discord, when the US markets open, if more fresh liquidity comes, we might see another push during the night. But if that remains as is, there will probably be signs, or it will probably signal profit taking, not adding to the position. So it's something to keep in the back of your head. Now, another chart that we need to keep an eye on is, and this is your buy the dip chart, because what is the problem at this stage is, okay, you're saying all this information, give me all this stuff, but it doesn't help me if I'm not in the market. And I'm saying at the moment, buy the dip is over. So when we were here, I was screaming buy the dip. Now let's quickly go to that so I can show you. So here's the charts in the Discord. You can go to the Discord. Everything gets shared there on the public segment. Buy the dip zone. That was the buy the dip zone there. We continued pushing on higher, remained the buy the dip zone. As we broke through critical levels, buy the dip zone. Okay. Another way that I helped you guys get in on the move is the buddy indicator. Okay. There was yesterday, buy the dip, TP1, TP2, TP3. The indicator basically measures the amount of volatility, and it's got 64 processes within the indicator to get to that 2 purple lines that you use as the buy zone. And it went to TP1, 2, and 3. That's the buy the dip. Okay, so now that we don't have the buy the dip situation at this moment, we need to wait for that to happen again. When will that happen again? Well, typically, if we look at the aggregated funding rate. Okay. So I'm holding a long position. I have to pay fees for the amount of money I borrowed to get that long position. That's how leverage works. You pay interest from that. I'm holding a short position. If there's not enough people on the other side of the market, they need to be incentivized to hold that short position. So the longs pay for the shorts. The fees from the longs, most of it goes to the short side of the market, so that there is the other side. We have to incentivize that. Okay. And the way that you can see that on this chart is typically when that ratio switches the other way around. Okay. So there's too many shorts, the longs need to be incentivized. That's typically good bottoms. And we were waiting for this in the Discord. That is why 108 was still a buy the dip zone for me, because we had the situation where there was literally too many people shorting. So in short, the beginnings of this breakout was shorts being taken out. There was too many of them. And the continuation of the breakout was buyers adding fuel to the fire by informs that you can see that the open interest started growing. Okay. So there you have it, guys. You got all the information. You know what we want to look for. So in order for us to buy the dip again, we need to have a retrace. We need to have a switch in the funding rate. We need to have open interest divergence, the market kind of grinding slow. And where that's going to be and when that's going to be, it's too far into the future. There's no way that I will be able to, predict that for you guys at this stage. But I've got you covered. Got you covered again. Now, the buddy indicator, if you want the buddy indicator, simple, guys. You support the content. Open your convert. Go to Blowfin and start trading on Blowfin. There's the link on the video description. Supports the content, makes things easier for me not doesn't really make, but supports the content. Okay. Or alternatively, use Primex BT, where I trade leverage. That's where most of my trading, my heavy leverage trading happens. And hey, it's growing. Come on, Bitcoin, push a little bit more. So if you want to support the content, that would be nice. But what I do for you guys in change, if you do that, is I give you my buddy indicator. Now, the buddy indicator works as follows. It has all my trade setups pre-programmed into the indicator. And it gives you these buy and sell setups through forms of an entry range and TP range. Now, remember, it's not financial advice, but statistically proven over a large sample size, 65% of the setups end up being profitable. That's the key here, guys. Okay. So now you have a little bit of a background idea of that. Now, let's get back to this chart. And the argument is for when the retrace is going to be. Now, typically what happens is, let's look at the buddy indicator. When the retrace happens again, the buddy indicator will give you strong bullish divergence, and it will give you hidden bullish divergence notifications. So the market moved, and it said hidden bullish divergence, continue onwards. Now, obviously, there's a limitation to the amount of lines TradingView can plot on the screen. So if you want to backtest the indicator, all you need to do is just rewind, and those new lines will appear. So the hidden bullish divergence, there it is there. It's a strat 4. So let me just isolate that. So what you need to do is just go to inputs, go to select your strategy, and isolate strat 4. So it's going to take all the other stuff away. So now it's saying to you, that's the entry zone, and then there's the continuation. So you're waiting for that. Now, in this instance, it's sad. I mean, we missed, the buddy missed. And there, the buddy was too early. Like I said, 65%. It's not a sure thing kind of thing. But there, it played out beautifully on the continuation of this trend. Okay, that's the power of that. So if we use that then, and wait for that to appear in our recent pump, okay, which there won't be any now because there's no strat 4 yet. That is one way you can then identify the right timing to buy the bloody dip. Okay. Alternatively, you can join my Discord on the premium side, or not premium, on the lifetime member side. I do have a lot more education. I've got strategies that I can use, and I teach everything I do there. And you can learn to become self-sufficient in that way. And the way that I would look at this is I would use this demand zone and wherever the high would be to identify the hidden bullish divergence manually, and then enter and to continue onwards. And at this stage, we first need to lock in this 1 hour time frame. First, just needs to lock in and fall below that green line. If it doesn't, none of this is relevant just yet. Okay, then it's no buy the dip just yet. Okay, so there you have it. Now, buy the dip over being like that, we need to look at some alts. So over to the alts. Before I do that, let's just go back to the comments. Let's see what else. Thou shalt not cross. Do not cross. Yeah, there you guys got it. Ashton, you've got it. And you guys are on the ball there. Okay, see a question. Can I have an invite to the indicator? It's a simple. You go to my Discord. You click on the navigation channel. You get the partner roles. There's the Primex BT. I even have a Bybit and a Blowfin. Click on that. Follow the instructions in there. Once everything is done, there's a little button there that you can claim, and then I will get you connected. It's as simple as that. Okay. I see Peter has joined in. Hello, Peter. The background stuff is working again. Right, it's about 240 people joining live. Let's see how many likes we do have before we move over to the altcoins. Come on, guys. I know it doesn't necessarily sound like it's an important thing to do, but it does help the algorithm. So please hit the like. Do me that solid. Okay, over to the altcoins then. So Ethereum, the big one that we need to talk about now. So you're going to see that there's going to be harmony in the market, in the sense that Ethereum is also now starting to give strong bearish divergence on the 1 hour time frame. And if it starts falling below 297, we can go test 285. I don't want to see this thing in the 27s anymore. You know, we need to pivot above this. Why? If you look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, this is significant, guys. I shared all of this in the Discord for you guys. So if you go to the altcoins to watch, there is all the charts, as well as in the announcement side, where if there's something big and important. Obviously, I'm live now, so now it takes forever to load. There it is. I do share that. So all that information is shared for you in the Discord. Okay, so what is this? So if you look at Ethereum, this is now 2024 February. We broke through 2,800 and we ran all the way up to 4,000. Now, this was in 2024. Okay, and from that point, 2,800 became a pivotal point for Ethereum. Get above it. It wants to go high, fail to make higher highs. Then it goes and retests that range. Fall below it. It acts as resistance. And where we're at now, we're reclaiming that. So it's a very sticky price point at this stage, $2,800. Now, you know my sad little story with Bitcoin, okay, with Ethereum. At this stage, at that point, I wanted to convert my BTC bags, my long-term Bitcoin bags, to Ethereum on the basis that the ETH to BTC chart gave me signals that we were going to go moon. Didn't happen, okay? That's why I can't give you financial advice. There's no guarantees on what I say. I can just measure the risk, share it with you, and you need to then do your own research on top of that. That's important, you know. So it ended up giving me a bit of a haircut on the amount of BTC I had because ETH dumped quite hard. But I used, and I stayed in that because it's spot, because it's mine. I used it, and when we got to these points, I got out of Ethereum. Got back into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin for the most of this pump has outperformed or did outperform Ethereum. Okay, so I'm happy at this stage, but the bias and the bigger picture for me hasn't really changed. Ethereum is way below previous all-time highs. Bitcoin has doubled past all-time highs almost. Literally almost there, yeah. Almost double all-time highs. That is an $8,000 to a $10,000 ETH if they were just performing at the same rate. Now, yes, you cannot value coins based on what Bitcoin did next cycle, because then by definition, that's why Altseason is so powerful, because they outperform Bitcoin, but for a short period of time. And I'm expecting that short period of time for Ethereum as well. But I first need to wait until ETH hits the buy the dip zone and give me strength. Shows me that I can trust it again. And then I'm going to do it again like an idiot. And hopefully I don't get another BTC haircut. So fingers crossed, it's going to be a sweaty moment on the mouse at that stage. I promise you, when I click that button to convert it again. But that is the plan. Without risk, you will never really succeed. You have to have skin in the game, guys. It's one of those things. Okay. So frustrating as it is, I'm waiting for that to happen. So I don't want to FOMO in right now. This morning, I did take a little early, naughty little ETH leverage position. And I've already taken profit on that one as well, just to some weekend spending money. Okay. So let's get to the altcoins. I think everybody's got the idea of where we're at. Are you on the same page as what I am at? Let me know in the comments right now. And you don't need to write out the whole thing. Give me a 555. We haven't done 555s in forever. Or 4.5s. Let's make it 4.5s. Peter, are you on the same page there, my friend? He's shaking his head. He's shaking his head. He was probably counting money. That's why he was late to the stream. Liam is not on the same page because he only gave me 3. Let's see. Afi Stanku. Okay. Right, guys, let's talk about, let me head over to the coins we need to be discussing. So let's start off with the first one on the list for today. Now, Arrow finally at 70 cents. Frenemies, you're my frenemies. I will take profit on your ass. If you find yourself holding a coin for way too long, then it's your fault. You need to pay the piper for that. I share the information. I share the divergence. I don't know what the future holds, just like you. If you feel it's going to go higher or it's going to go lower, it's your right and you have to act on it. But understand that technical analysis, as I say, is a risk management tool. If the risk is low enough, I'm going to take the risk. If the risk is too high, I'm going to get myself out. Simple as that. Okay, so let's have a look at Arrow real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Arrow. And I will use Bybit. So 70 cents is the buy. We're sitting at 81 cents. So it's about a 15% increase. If you feel you missed the bus on this, you haven't, because of the following thing. Just like Bitcoin and everything else, you need price to start establishing a trend. Now, 1 or 5 blue candles does not make a trend. The greatest structure at this stage is bullish. Great. So you can argue that we're in a channel or however you want to do it. So that is bullish, but this move needs to create a trend. And the way that you know that is if you then take your daily and you switch maybe to a 4-hour and you wait for the RSI to do this. Once it's below this area, then that would be your first wave. So to visually explain this the best way I can, 1, 2, 4, 5. And it's at that stage, once you get that bounce, so the first one's going to be the riskiest buy. So you ladder yourself in, you take a little bit and then you buy a little bit later when it shows it's definitely going to go on, okay? And then the tool that you're going to be using is your speed resistance fan. So double click on the settings there with a 38.2, and then you put that at the bottom of that candle progression and you track that thing as it goes higher. And as long as price stays above the green line, let's maybe make this line for today orange, colorful. It's colorful. Stays above the orange line, you're good. Now let me do that again. Say that again. Where we have RSI, first wave, bottom. Once we start going higher, you're allowed to use this on the basis that there's now going to be 5 waves. Okay, simple. Divergence, divergence, hidden bullish divergence, hidden bullish divergence, 4 below 2, 4 below 2. Okay, so the 5 wave is applied perfectly. Picture perfect 5-wave Elliott structure. Yeah. Now we use this line from once the first wave is done. As you track the highs, price will stay above the orange line. As long as it stays above the orange line, you stay in it. There was your shakeout, or you'll buy the dip, and then you stay in it until again it breaks trend, and then you're done. When it breaks trend, you wait for the scene of the crime. It visits the scene of the crime. Gareth Saylor said that when he was on the stream 2 years ago, and I really like that term. You know, price does this. The market is actually very kind. It gives you second chances. Okay, you just need to be open to it. Stop having a bias, but it has to go up. Showing you it doesn't want to, and it gives you your out, and that's it. Okay, and then you wait, and then the whole thing starts again. RSI high, low. You start applying you wait for your first wave. Once you have your first wave, let's just click on the button again. It's probably quicker. Once you have your first wave, high, low. Okay, from that point onwards, you track this thing on the highs. You track it on the highs. There's your third wave. Okay, track it on the highs. There, break trend. There's your exit. You're out. Guys, it's that simple. It has to be that simple. If you make it more complicated than that, you're going to start suffering from analysis paralysis. It's dumping. I don't know what to do. I'll wait. It's pumping. I don't know what to do. It will go higher. I'll be rich. And that's those kinds of HODL mentality that prevents people from becoming what they set out to do. There's so many people in this market. Everything goes up 1,000x at some stage. But why aren't any of them rich yet? Because of this greed. They don't want to get out. Okay, or they don't want to get in. I see, Liam, you've made up for the short 5 that you shorted me on the 5 there, my friend. So we sorted. Okay, so does the strategy make sense? Let me know in the comments, please. Now I want to talk to you guys about that expectation management side of things. because we have in the past, this is Bitcoin dominance, have had this scenario where the dominance is sold up. We fold the imbalance and, but there's no guarantee that the dominance is now going to go vloop like this. What if this is a base? Because institutions, they don't have access to the millions of other shit coins out there. So, and that's just diluting the alt's power at this stage. What if Bitcoin goes, bounces here, and the dominance goes on higher? You cannot tell me that this is not a possibility. Remember the rule of a trader. You treat the trend as if it's going to last forever. So in anticipation of this overused term alt season, everybody is saying, oh, but this time it's going to come. And it sets the precedent that you're going to say, well, I'm going to buy OP now, I'm going to buy Hype now, I'm going to buy Sui and Say, and I'm going to retire in 9 months. And then it doubles your money and you don't sell, and then it dumps again further. You don't know that that's the potential. That's what the max potential is going to be. So on that basis, the strategy that I want to share with you guys is very simple. Let's go to OP. There we reclaimed critical support. I'm waiting for a higher high. Once we have that, there will be a retrace. I don't want to say how deep it's going to be. I don't know. But whatever the price is going to be, once it doubles in value, I'm selling half. That's it. Letting the other half ride for the insane gains. Because remember, OP does have insane prospects to it. Look at this. But what of all of this is rightfully so an overvaluation of the network's value. So where will this be questioned? It will be questioned at its original support that was lost. That still needs to either be turned back into support or will be confirmed as resistance. So the risk to reward ratio for me on OP makes sense because I can get in on this thing right where it's at. And when it hits that $1.20, I am getting my ass out. The nice thing about this is, we can have a look at this. There's resistance. There is where you would get your ass out. What if you're wrong? The market in the future will go and test that zone before it goes up. It will give you a second chance. Statistically, that's as close as a guarantee you can almost get with anything. So you don't have to sit with these coins and say, okay, now go make me retire. It's not their job. It's not trade for a living and retire next week. It's look at this thing, measure the risk and say to yourself, okay, OP, go do something for me. When you get close to that, get out. And then there's the line. You know, I make this mistake as well. It went 20 cents below where I wanted to double my money. So I was 95% there to get to that 100% gain. And then I didn't sell. Use a little bit of common sense. If it's close enough, bang it in, get it out of the way, because then you don't have to make that decision in a moment of panic. Because when the market starts dumping, oh, I didn't expect this. Now you're still up 20%. Yeah, but I was up 100% almost. Let's wait. It must go test some highs again. And then it doesn't. So just remember that. Okay. Disappointed in render. Yes, a lot of the coins, a lot of the coins do that. Okay. Compliments on the tweet format. Thanks so much, buddy. I'm trying to make it a little bit more informative. I know that I can be over technical and over explanatory to a point because, it's simple. People don't stay around as always. It is hard work and I try and give as much as I can. So thanks for the compliment. I really do appreciate that, Dave. Okay, so let's see what else. I was right about the haircut yesterday. We got big candles up. So Rudo, never comb your hair ever again. Okay, my friend, I will do that for you. I'll make it even crazier. So let's see. No more haircuts either. Okay. When I come in looking like okay. Because then no hair, there's a problem we need to sell. Okay, so let's quickly see what else we can do. Okay, now let's get through the other coins. We're about 35 minutes in. This has been yet again a lengthy one, But now it's done. From this point on going forward, the videos will start getting shorter again because we're going to more be focusing on the entry and what the future will hold. So the next coin on the list, let's bring that up. Let me just get my notes so that I also don't forget on the coins that I really wanted to talk to you guys about. There we go. So the next coin on the list, I wanted to talk to you guys about Sui. Let's have a look at Sui real quick. Sui is a really good example of launch dump, launch test, massive move. So Sui could be in an Ethereum type environment at this stage, where although this is moving, it probably needs to almost end and break out and then give momentum and get going at this stage. So Sui at this stage is a safer play, but you need to understand that Sui is also struggling at this stage from a lot of sell pressure. So you do have resistance around $3.70. And when the move is fast, we know this, price will go and retest. So you're going to probably get Sui at around $3 in the future. So rather wait for that. Don't FOMO in on the move. Wait for Sui. Come on, give me that line. Wait for Sui to find that sweet spot around $3.20. And if you're a trader and you want to get in on the momentum, switch to the 4-hour, switch on the buddy. Let's just update to the latest version. Thank you. Switch to the buddy, and it's already given you the S3. Okay. So the move has probably gone there on the trading side of things, but the sweet HODL move is still up for grabs. So wait for that one. Okay. Next coin on the list was, I think, HBAR. What else was? Now I can't remember the 4 coins that I wanted to talk to you guys. Let me go to my agenda. I dropped it in the beginning. You see, that's the problem when I start going. I forget what I wanted to say in the first place. What's the other coins that I wanted to discuss? Let's see where I can find where I wrote it down. Okay, OP we've done Ethereum. Now we've done Sui, and now we just need to do one more, and then I've done everything on the list as promised. The coin is Hyperliquid. Okay. Now, the play was, and the play was as follows. Hit this on the daily time frame. Just going to expand it. This is now Hyper on KuCoin. I've got the wrong hype. This thing with all the trading pairs. There's the TA. So the argument was that with hype being where it's at the 50 zone. So you can see there's a Sui example when Sui launched, and there is HBAR example when HBAR launched. So typically the thing is we've got strong bearish divergence living right there now. So we do have that. And we do have our thou shall not cross line. Here I'm just going to keep it red because it is, well, no, it can be green because it's support. It's support in favor of the trend. So you can use between where it is right now and this green line, give it a little bit of meat below that, as your potential bounce zone for more. So this one does have buy the dip tokenomics at this stage. Okay, so you can grab this. What you just don't want to do is you don't want to fall below that line, because then it opens the door for this to get tested. And that's going to happen in the future somewhere. You just don't want to be around for when that happens. So you have to have a simple, clean invalidation. Now, why is this a big deal, guys? It's sitting right there. Over the last 90 days, this thing has outperformed Bitcoin. Deep is also now coming back up. Deep is one of the coins that we were looking at in the Discord. I need to go check where we're at with this. Let's see, where's Deep? I don't know where Deep is. I need to go find it. It's somewhere in here. Maybe it's in the research room. No, it's not there. I can't even find it. I need to go look for it. But in any case, Deep is also one of those that, as you can see, is coming up in moves now. So there's a lot more coming that way. So there's a little hot side note, side tip for you. See where Arrow is, why there's momentum there. Bitcoin Cash, remember the sweet entry I gave you guys on that. Syrup has been hanging around that, and then meme coins. I mean, I'm still reserved on meme coins. Pengu's there, and just to finalize on this, there's your OP. That's why OP is where it's at. That's why it's double and sell. OP could still go to the top of this list, and come and join all the other coins. But it's just one of those things. Another coin that I'm looking at, ENA on that list, Curve on that list, Aptos on that list, Ton on that list. You need to be looking at these coins and apply what I'm showing you guys, because there's potentials for them there. Celestia, not so much at the stage. Structure is not that nice, but on that list in a way, because if it reclaims certain areas, Celestia can turn this around for us. Okay, so there you have it, guys. So back to this one. Fall below it, boop, stay above it. This thing can reclaim this entire wick and go more. $100, $200, who's to say? But now, because we are in the environment where Altseason is no longer a sure bet, if it goes from here to there, sell half. Don't try and become rich next week, okay? Because inevitably, all these coins is proven to you, there's going to be a retrace. And if you look back at this, when Subi went to, what was the price there? That was $2, $3. $3. That is still below to where Subi is today. No, it's literally where Subi is at the moment. Okay, so you would have been happy at that stage. I mean, Subi went to $5 at some stage. Okay, so there you have it, guys. Simple. Keep it simple. Don't try and overthink these things. Okay, and let's see what else we have in the comments. Any questions? If there's any questions, and then we can end off the stream. About 320 people joining live. Hey, this stream is growing. Happy new all-time highs in viewerships as well. We used to have about 1,500 in the previous bull market watching in live as well. So it's just proof that retail is here, but they're not quite convinced that it's going to happen. The momentum needs to create conviction, and then they'll put their more money where their mouths are and become word of mouth. Share it with their friends. Once you get that message again, when guys are saying, is it a good time to buy now? And they start inviting you to the braai, then you know, get out. Okay. I'll do one request, and why not take Joss's? I'll take Stanku's Trump coin, because I mean I spoke about Trump coin many times, and on this list, Trump was down here. I don't know where it's climbing. It's climbing. Okay, so the thing about this is, I think Elio said it very nice, and I do have notes on that in the shill sheet on the lifetime member side of the Discord. There's attention coins, and a lot of time with these meme coins, it makes sense. They're driven based on attention. So as long as they're in your face, as long as they're there and doing what we like them to do, go up, we're going to be in them. But as soon as they turn around, the real motivation behind buying goes away, which was, I'm buying this thing for it to go up. Memes are pumping. That's why I'm buying memes. Okay. And it's only once the brand becomes sticky, that's when you can set your sights for long-term investment. Like a layer one, Ethereum is a sticky brand. Solana, sticky brand. Dot, what we thought was, but there's no more hype, attention on it. So it loses it. So once it's like that, then you can start setting your sights on for long term. So just be mindful of what Trump coin is. It's still just a meme coin. And I would treat it like that. Double your money, sell half. Now, I did post a while ago. Let's see if I can find the chart for you. So many places. There it is. I'll open this up and I'll bring this over. Mind you, you guys can go and follow me on CoinMarketCap if you want. I started a profile there. It's about 2 weeks old, so it's growing at a good rate. Okay, so if you want to get your coins as you research them, I'll probably be in the feed as well, so you can check it out. And the argument for this was very simple. Trump is in that depression phase where we're testing the previous support lows, just like the play with hype and everything else. So if you look at where this at now, we have moved up nicely. Now, if you're early, the simple rule was, if you bought there, your double your money, sell half scenario is living here. Now, ask me, if that is a good risk to reward ratio. And I would say no, considering why. I want to double my money and sell half below this resistance, because we have this whole area that was support that's now going to act as resistance. And where we're at right now, we're so close to it. The risk does not outweigh the reward at this stage. So I'm not touching it. I want that to be there. Now, do the following for me, Trump coin. Give me a 1 and come back for a 2, 3, 4, 5. If that then becomes there, I can buy this thing there, leverage it 2x. Double my money sits there. Now the risk to reward is there. Get above that area, let the rest ride. Risk to reward is key, guys. If you don't do that, none of this matters. Okay. Risk to reward, guys. There's 92K in profit there. It looks amazing. If I show you the history, the last few trades, it's horrible. I don't think it's going to load now. My last 6 trades on that account was all losers, between $6,000 and $20,000 loss. Okay. Risk to reward. Now the big payday comes in. It recovers all of the losses and some. And then you start over again. There's going to be failed moments. You're going to build on that. Then it's going to come again. There's going to be your moment to shine. So remember that. Okay. So there's your Trump coin. Thanks so much, guys. 46 minutes. Have an amazing weekend. Enjoy the pump. Understand that where Bitcoin is at right at this stage, things might slow down there. And it gives the market time to now shift its attention to some of the alts. We have all the tools. If you have a Blowfin account, you get your Prime account, you go to the Discord, you claim it. Okay, you get the buddy indicator. You'll have all the tools that you need to get going there. Okay, it's as simple as that. Do you think it's a good level to open swing longs, heading for macro lower highs or possibly new highs? Now, that's the problem I have at this stages. We're not there yet. One pump does not make a trend, my friend. Just because we had a really big move at the moment, it's there. Now, the question you need to ask yourself at this stage, are you so confident that Bitcoin is not possible, that it's not possible for Bitcoin to reverse? So much so that you would put your life savings, your house, you would sell everything and put it in Bitcoin right now. If that is the amount of information you have that will guarantee that that you can actually do that, then your argument is it's a good time to go macro leverage longs on alts. It's simple as that. But until that confidence kicks in, that's not what I'm going to do. Now, why do I say something crazy like this? In this euphoric phase, leverage trading becomes easy because then everybody gets to make money. So you can buy, and the market moves exceptionally well in relation to the amount of daily fees it costs for you to be in the position. Sitting in here buying leverage, this depression to disbelief phase could take months. So like I said, with some of the alts, they can go revisit some of their recent lows still will be bullish, but your leverage position won't make sense at that stage anymore. That's why you can't do that just yet. First, you go spot. Once trend is established, and you can use that special FIB tool that I've used to track the momentum of the coin, then you go leverage. Okay. And if you have that on a higher time frame, better so than trying to look for that on the 15-minute, because it's going to chop the shit up. It's just going to eat you up because the market's hunting for liquidity. It's job. It's engineered to look for your stop. Hope that kind of helps you. There you have it. Okay, guys. 333 people joining in live. Thanks so much, guys. Please do me solid. Share the video. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe button if you still haven't done that. And I'll be back on Monday. Follow my socials. Head over to the Discord. I am busy there during the weekend. And that's it. Have a lovely day, guys. Bye-bye.